Meet Beryl, a typical 50-year-old guy living the American dream. He's got the skills, the experience, but unfortunately, no riz. Still, he's somehow the guy young girls fantasize about. Welcome to his world, where age is just a number and his cluelessness is, well, part of the package. This story begins in a rural, mountainside village where a self-proclaimed humble old man named Beryl Guardiant is being trained by a much older man who is his father. The old man is sick of Beryl practicing his swordsmanship, even though he's now the master at their dojo, and advises him to focus on other things like marriage, as the old man doesn't have any grandchildren to look after in his last few days. Beryl ignores his dad's advice and then heads to his dojo to teach his students. Beryl's dojo is a backwater dojo that has been teaching sword skills for generations after generations. Beryl himself was born at this dojo, and for as long as he remembers, he has been honing his swordsmanship with wooden swords. Although one might consider the endless routine of eat, parry, and repeat pretty boring, Beryl enjoys it as he's able to pass his skills down to other young, motivated individuals. He doesn't have mad skills, but still, he is happy as a teacher because a number of his students have gone on to be successful in life. He comes back home from the dojo in the late afternoon and once again is pestered by his father to get married. The old man doesn't think it is a big request for him to get to see his grandchildren before getting isekai'd. He turns to his wife seeking her support, but instead of taking his side, the old lady takes her son's side, saying that sooner or later he will find someone to his liking. I mean, lady, your son's 50 or something. The only thing he'll find is women with menopause unless he's into younger girls, which is worse. It seems I've jinxed it, cause moments later Alicia Citrus, a young lady who's Beryl's former student, comes knocking at his door. Alicia here is the commander of the royal knights of this kingdom, and since she's a product of Beryl's dojo, both Beryl and his father take pride in being her teachers. In any case, the reason she's come here today is to inform her former teacher that she too has now started to teach swordsmanship and has recommended Beryl as a special instructor for the knights, which has been approved by the Imperial Order. Beryl doesn't believe his ears. How can a village-born loser like him get such a big shot opportunity all of a sudden? He can't refuse this offer because if he does, the kingdom will take it as a huge disrespect, and consequently, he might have to face the death penalty before Beryl can come to a decision. Alicia also lets him know that he'll have to head to the royal capital with her right now to discuss further about this. Beryl's father encourages him, telling him to get on the horse already, find a suitable wife at the capital, and only return with his future grandchildren. The old man also subtly suggests Beryl marry Alicia, to which Beryl becomes offended as he believes that their age gap is too high for them to engage in a romantic relationship. However, judging from Alicia's flustered reaction, I don't think she minds their age gap. She doesn't make a comment regarding this matter and sits quietly for the rest of their meeting there. Shortly after, both the master and the student are on their journey to the capital, and Beryl, being the talkative one, asks Alicia about the sword she's carrying which he gifted to her during her graduation at his dojo. It's not like he gave her any special treatment or anything. He gives all of the graduates at his dojo swords as gifts, but it looks like Alicia took too much of a liking to her sword. Regardless, Beryl thinks Alicia should get herself a better one since she is a commander now, but Alicia is fixated on using only that one. Anyway, Alicia expresses her excitement that the small-town swordmaster is finally going to be inspiring the people at the royal capital. Beryl, however, remains completely oblivious, thinking of himself as just a regular guy, and brushes Alicia off, assuming she's only saying that to flatter him. Alicia continues to shower her master with compliments and subtly tells him that she'll do her best to become worthy of him, which he doesn't even hear because he's too old. He simply responds by asking, "Nani?" They arrive at the capital, where Beryl spends the night alone at a hotel cause it's too soon, and in the next morning, he meets Alicia for his official introduction before the Knights of the Liberian Order. As the commander, Alicia gathers all of the knights and proudly introduces Beryl to everyone, saying he's on a whole different level compared to her. The flattery, which is actually true, is a bit much for Beryl to handle, but he still looks forward to working with everyone and promises them that he'll do his best to share his skills with them. While most of the knights clap and seem excited to have their new instructor, two individuals among them are not too pleased. Later, Alicia informs Beryl about his duties, telling him that he'll only need to come to the capital 3 to 4 times a month to train the knights, which should work well for him since he'll still be able to teach at his home dojo. While the two are talking, Kiruni, a knight who was also one of Beryl's students, comes running over to greet her master. Alicia tells Beryl that, just like Kiruni, there are many others here who are eager for his tutelage. Hearing this, Beryl feels happy and considers himself lucky that he'll get to teach his former students again. After a long day, Beryl returns home and finds that one of his former students, Randrid, has come to visit his father, bringing along his wife and newborn child. Speaking of the old man, he doesn't even look at Beryl, demanding that he leave immediately and only return once he's had a child like Randrid. By the way, Randrid was once an adventurer and has only recently retired to settle down with his wife in the village. But the question remains, why has he come to the old man's house? The old man reveals to Beryl that, since Beryl will have to stay at the capital from now on, he's decided to appoint Randrid as the new dojo master, making it clear that Beryl's stay in the capital is now inevitable. While walking in the streets of Baltrain, Master Beryl tells Alicia about his encounter with his master, who had chased him out of his old place. He apologizes for making her join him on his house hunt, and she doesn't see it as much as an inconvenience. Being so broke, he hopes they can find an affordable inn. Since he was new in town, he believes that Alicia will help him figure something out. Just then, she offers him a chance to live at her place, but he doesn't consider it an option. Shortly after, she asks that they go for lunch, and when he agrees, he assumes that this could be somewhat of a date. While they proceed to look for an inn, Alicia encounters someone she knows. Even though Alicia should be the one who is ashamed, Beryl felt uncomfortable that his presence would cause people to speak so lowly of Alicia, who happened to be the knight commander. He hides his face with a map in his hands. Turning around, Alicia sees Lysandra and cautions her not to be nosy. She then chooses to ignore the redhead with a big heart and walk away. This comes off as being rude to Lysandra, who goes ahead to block the way. At this moment, Lysandra turns her sights to Beryl. She seeks to know who Alicia is calling her master and brings down the map to reveal his face. When she does so, Beryl immediately recognizes the plate on her neck and figures that she is a black rank adventurer. In a shocking turn of events, Lysandra recognizes Beryl as her master. Hearing her call him master, Beryl is shocked. Meanwhile, Lysandra tries to remind him about the time when he took her in 20 years ago and taught her how to use a sword. At the mention of that experience, Beryl is reminded about who she is. He remembers how scared she was to learn how to use the sword and is pleased by how well she has grown. Lysandra, on the other hand, reveals that she has always wanted to reach out to him but had never gotten the chance to do so. She apologizes to him for this, but he is so happy to see her. After that, she seeks to know why he is in town with someone as pathetic as Alicia. Before he could give a response, Alicia reveals that he was appointed as special instructor to the Liberian Order and is looking for a place to stay. Hearing this, Lysandra is pissed that the clueless Alicia would be the one to help her master. The two get into a heated argument and eventually find somewhere suitable for Master Beryl together. After settling down, he asks that they both leave and they bid their farewells. While they do so, he watches them and acknowledges that it feels good to have his old students take care of him. The next day, at the Liberian Order, two students engage in a duel, and one of them ends up smashing the other student's sword to bits, forcing him to surrender. Just then, Alicia arrives with Master Beryl and announces that he would be instructing them today. Before she could go on any further, the student who had won the duel earlier steps forward. He claims that it takes a certain level of strength to be an instructor for the Liberian Order and asks that Beryl shows him how skillful he is. Hearing this, Beryl wonders who the hell this loudmouth is, and Alicia states that he is the vice commander of the order, Henblitz Drought. Furthermore, Henblitz asks to have a duel with Master Beryl, and Alicia hurriedly agrees since it would give her master the chance to school these clueless kids. Due to this, Beryl is forced to accept it, while Master Beryl and Henblitz face each other, ready to start. The other students are left wondering if he would be able to come out victorious since they have never seen him fight. They even refer to him as an old man who can't teach them anything. On the other hand, Henblitz believes that Alicia only brought Beryl here because he was her former master. He believes that Barrel's skills are washed up, and all that's left is an old man. Even Barrel doesn't seem confident in his skill, but he hopes he doesn't lose so miserably in order not to put Alucia to shame. When the duel starts, Henblitz charges at Barrel, and he spends time defending the attacks and trying to understand the young lad's fight style. Seeing this, the students believe it is only a matter of time before Henblitz finishes Barrel off. However, Barrel seizes the chance to swerve off one of Henblitz's attack and hit him slightly on the chin. Even after doing this, he is worried that he didn't harm the young boy. But Henblitz still has the guts to talk shit. The two reset their stance and continue the duel. After a heated battle, Henblitz decides to finish him off with a powerful signature move of his, hoping that this would give him the victory. Every student seeing this believed that Barrel is done for, but he already figured out Henblitz's attack. Upon landing it, Barrel dodges it swiftly and taps him at the back with his sword. This shocks Henblitz to his bones. He concedes defeat and commends Barrel's extraordinary skill. He even asks Barrel to teach him the technique he used to avoid his attacks, but Barrel assures him that they would eventually get to that. Later that night, they all gather for some drinks to celebrate Barrel's appointment. While drinking, Henblitz apologizes for his rudeness, but Barrel doesn't see this as a problem. He believes it is only right to test his potential master's skills. Meanwhile, Alucia keeps rubbing it in Henblitz's face that Master Barrel is definitely strong, as she is so confident in her master's skills. Back at Barrel's old house, his master meets with Randrid, who is pleased that he was able to help Barrel get out in the world. He acknowledges that he has never seen a better swordsman than Barrel, and his master is pleased that Barrel would finally get the opportunity to see the outside world.